Hello, hello. Mic check. 1, 2, 3. Is the mic low, you're saying? Because I can change that really easy. The music should always be really low. As we wait for people to file in, I'm going to flip over to our new coming soon screen. Mic is low. Maybe try turning it up because I have it turned up quite a bit actually now. Thank you, Callie, for the update, and thank you, Atlan, for the update. Yeah, double check the volume on, the device you're watching on or your headphones if they have an inline volume. Seems better? Okay, that's good. I'll turn it up just one more notch there. Okay, let's see here. So, if you can't tell, that's the new graphic for Fun with Objects, and the launch date for Fun with Objects has obviously been announced now, which is July 10th. And then in the bottom left corner, I'm also kind of revealing today the new Hendrik graphic. Okay. So yeah, we've got the new Fun with Objects graphic, stream graphic, which is Hendrik juggling some objects, it looks like. So he's juggling a D20, a dice, or no, a D20 die, and then a diamond and a skull. Off, let's center that. Level. Good. Okay. Welcome back to the Damn Challenge. And if it's your first time here, welcome to the Damn Challenge. My name is Mac. I'm the community manager for Dungeon Alchemist. Dungeon Alchemist is a map-making tool available on Steam. We offer a free demo that you can try before you buy, kind of test drive it on your computer. But we also have a sale right now. We're participating in the Steam Summer Sale, which we're very honored to be a part of. You can get Dungeon Alchemist at 20% off right now. I won't be, bringing that up a ton through the stream, just once or twice, but wanted to kind of start with that before we move on. Today's stream is a showcase of amazing maps that were shared by our community members in an ongoing map making contest we aptly call the Damn Challenge. When you save a map in Dungeon Alchemist, it saves as our proprietary file format, which is .dam, so like a JPEG or an MP4. We have our own thing. It's a DAM file. Now, with that in mind, we kind of lean into that. So we have DAM streams, DAM challenges, all those kind of fun little things. So today's stream is a showcase from entries from the last 2 weeks DAM challenge, which the theme was Nightmare. So over the last 2 weeks, we've had 7 entries in the DAM challenge. And there was there was actually several that were kind of top contenders. This one, though, stood out as like the most horrific nightmare scape I could think of. So congratulations to our friend Geronimo. I don't know if he's watching right now, but if he is, congrats to you. You won the Damn Challenge. And also, remember everyone, we can't all win, but we can all be winners. So let's make sure we give a congratulations to Geronimo in chat. That way, if he does end up watching later, if he's not here, then he can, see the chat and get those well wishes or whatever. Oh, hey, he's in right now. Hey, congratulations, my friend. It's an amazing map. Honestly, it's terrifying. I'm having a hard time staring at it for long. It kind of makes me unsettled. So you definitely nailed it. Hey, Sack, how are you doing, bud? Blue Mage, welcome back. Chim, how are you? How's everyone doing today? So, congratulations to Geronimo. Props to you, my friend. We'll take a closer look at your map for the first little bit, and I'm glad you're here so you can answer questions. This thing is kind of gross, but I like it. That's the point. It's supposed to be unsettling and make you kind of feel like you're in a nightmare. So you did a great job there. What can you tell us about this map? What was your inspiration? And also, how long did you take to build this map? I'd love to know. Like, how long did you spend on this project? You know, I was looking for a map that made me feel uncomfortable when I was judging, so I think you nailed it. 5 hours? Well, you did a great job. I mean, you don't have to time it, but I like to get a rough estimate, Blue Mage. It's kind of nice to know. It's an interesting idea, but yeah, you could put your timer on your phone or whatever, or a computer widget or something, and then just run it while you're building. It would be cool if we had tracking data like that in, like, inside of the map. So, like, it's in the dam file, and it would maybe show a timer up here, or show the map size up here, stuff like that. But it is what it is. 5 hours, you guess? Well, it definitely looks like a quick map, but also, you know, it's a horrific map. These arms all over here and the walls, the perfect use of like the brains and the fleshy eyes, like the eldritch kind of horror eyes. Wasn't that what it is? Eyed Abomination. It is perfect for this kind of horror scape, if you will. So while we've got kind of a good audience here right now, I want to ask everyone in the crowd who, you know, generally participates in the Dam Challenge, and those that are considering participating in future ones or participated in them in the past. I'm thinking of allowing the next 2 weeks to be a break. We don't often do this, but the thing is the 10th is kind of like right near the end of the block of the Dam Challenge window. The 12th is when we'd be doing the Dam Challenge, the next one. Actually, no, wouldn't it? Yeah, it would be the 12th. So I'm thinking we could take a break, have a couple of weeks off, and then when we come back on the 12th, we'll do Fun with Objects as our theme. Now, if everyone is more like, no, I want to keep making maps, we'll do another Dam Challenge. We'll come up with a theme. But I was really just giving y'all kind of some time to rest, relax, and then consider what's coming in the new update. I'll be honest with you, the Dam Challenge today, I mean, we usually pick the theme today and then people have 2 weeks to kind of make their maps, but I think everyone's going to have Fun with Objects on the brain. And like, then by the 10th, some people may wait till the last minute and then do a Fun with Objects build, which kind of gives them an edge. If you think about it, like it's a disadvantage because they're waiting till the last minute, but then they have like all of these new objects and tools. Callie, you're excited for the next Dam Challenge? Me too. I love it when we do the themed one with the launch of an update. It always makes me happy to see what y'all come up with. Hey, Random Ladybird, welcome back. You're all for that? That's good to know. So many roofs, right? And like underground areas, probably. Gives everyone time to kind of mull over their ideas. Katya, you know, the 10th is going to be amazing for this community. I think, honestly, when y'all see what's happening, the big changes that are happening just in this portion of Fun with Objects alone, y'all will be very, very happy and like impressed. And it's going to be kind of a new era for Dungeon Alchemist, so to speak. I can't speak, I can't form your opinions for you, but these changes, even if you weren't like anticipating roofing or multi-level, like it's something you weren't excited for, it's very cool. And there's a bunch of new features that are being added that are very cool as well in addition. And the thing is I think we've been going nonstop for the Dam Challenge really hasn't had a break. Kind of been shifted and had like a week delay and things like that, but there's not really been a break since it started. So let's take this time and just give everyone a couple weeks. So once we release the update, and I've been exploring it and understanding it and getting familiar with it in the background, I'm not only writing up wiki material but making tutorial videos, like official tutorial videos that'll revolve around all of this stuff. Like tips and tricks videos that are really short that just kind of show you something cool in them. Others that are longer tutorial videos that break down the tools and everything in them. And then the wiki is going to get a bunch of updates to the various pages and new pages that will reflect all of the new things being added. But honestly, the exports for VTTs will be very similar to how it is now. The only difference is if you export all the levels and the roofs, it'll export each level and the roofing as a separate map, a separate JPEG or a video with its own JSON file. Yeah, the teaser videos are some of my favorite videos. Honestly, I feel like I'm horrible at tutorial videos, so I kind of get in my head about them. But when it comes to teasers and stuff, I love those. I think the reason I have a hard time with tutorial videos is I love to teach so much and I get wordy and I get to the point where I'm like, this is a 10-minute video and it should be 3 minutes, and I have a hard time cutting it down to that. That's my biggest flaw, I think, is I overdo it when it comes to those things. So my hope is going forward, I'm going to revive like the Give a Damn series and start doing tons of videos there. They'll be probably 1 to 3 minutes each. And then we'll do short little tips and tricks videos that'll be roughly 15 to 30 seconds each. And they'll be multi-platform kind of everywhere with the shorter videos. So Decal Tool had to be postponed into the next Fun with Objects Part 2 because they found some issues with it and it just was causing problems, and they wanted to make sure it was better for the launch. In fact, most of the core object features some of you were excited about in Fun with Objects are being shifted to Fun with Objects 2 just to make sure they work right. Rotating an object on any axes, maybe being able to grab multiple objects, like lasso them and grab them and move them as a group. Maybe variant creation, things like that. These were things they were toying around with, but as delays kept happening from the development around roofing, and I'll be honest, it's mainly in part to them wanting to get it perfect because they were worried of public reception when we first kind of had our first iteration of roofing, that y'all wouldn't be happy with it. And not to mention they wanted to get it right so it seemed to work correctly. Anyway, that's my mentality too, is I'd rather them release it functional than broken and do patches. I don't know. I don't like the mindset of most development companies nowadays to release like a half of a product and then the rest is in a season pass, or they update it via patches and fix it. Now, granted, we are in an early access model, so I'm kind of like, kind of a hypocrite there. But I do think the early access model, you know what you're getting into versus buying a product that's like, not necessarily finished, even though it's supposed to be. So I think it's kind of anyway. It's up in the air. What do you all feel about that when it comes to game and software development? Like, I know some people are uneasy about early access because a lot of early companies have let them down. Early access is a big risk. It really is. Same thing with Kickstarters in general. But I've heard time and time again from our community that they feel like supporting our Kickstarter was probably one of the best ones they've ever done, or one of the best decisions they've made when it came to a Kickstarter. So that always makes me feel good and confident. But at the same time, it's like, I wasn't around for that part of our business. I do think some people may be irritated that, you know, some of these object features they've been waiting years for are being delayed a little bit, but it's all because they want them to just work correctly, work right. And then if they had gotten those features in and then not done roofing and multi-level and did it later, it's essentially have to be redone. So it's like they had to do it this way in this order. Anyway. Anyway, so when I look at this map, I am absolutely flabbergasted by it. Not only the color, but the amount of detail you put into like all these little random horror things. The weird fleshy tables that you shoved into the wall to get the arms sticking out, right? Interesting. Got these little fleshy eye things, which are a stock object, both of those. This brain, I think that's from the workshop, right? That isn't something we have, is it? Or is it? That looks like ours. I don't know. I can't remember. Nope, it's a stock one. I often like start getting them confused because not only that, like there's a lot of them from the workshop that are starting to be really high quality. They are underused mainly because the flesh table, they're unsettling, and that's the reason. But I mean, I'm sure many of you have campaigns that are going to like Hellscapes or Demon Realms or anything of the like, a Lich's, you know, base. Like this could very easily pass for any of those three. Alrighty, so hey Bane, how you doing, buddy? What you been up to? That little wave. That emoji's tops. Okay. So this map is how big? Let's get the size really. 33 by 33, not super big too. I like that there's like it's sealed with some sort of wall of force too. It's like you're stuck in there. The prison cell. That's exactly what it is. So what kind of thing would you keep in this prison cell? Gloves. Oh, Bane. The little fingers moving and stuff is creepy as well. It really adds to the allure. Ugh. Ugh. It's the creepiest game of spin the bottle. Ugh. Just like endlessly walking around shaking hands. That'd be it'd be terrifyingly exhausting and definitely a hell. So kind of a hellscape prison cell, so that makes sense. Goodness. I want to read the notes you have on this if there's anything, but excuse me. An eternity of being critically scrutinized, everything achievable or not, splinters in the soul itself. Glow in the darkness of the disgusting Morris. Interesting. Supposed to be a metaphor, huh? Hey, welcome back, Screw Lost. No, Bane. No. That's all I'm gonna say. No, you don't needed this many hands. They could technically clap. It is a nightmare fuel. I mean, the theme of the damn challenge was nightmare, so you hit it right on the head there, Screw Lost. So the maps of this this stream are from the last 2 weeks map making contest that we host pretty much almost ongoing on our streams and in our Discord called the Damn Challenge. And the theme was nightmare, so we had 7 entries and they're all kind of, you know, nightmarish in their own way or a hellscape in their own way. So if these kind of things might be unsettling to you, I would say, you know, just be wary. This one, though, is definitely one of the most nightmarish, I would say. It made me the most unsettled. That's why it won. I aim for a feeling when I'm judging maps of different styles. You know what I mean? Oh, okay. So what's the metaphor supposed to be, Geronimo? Honestly, it looks like something you'd see in like Elden Ring or like an anime like Berserk. That tonight's gonna be a disturbing night. I've got a feeling. Ew. Does kind of feel berserk, doesn't it? My son said that when he first saw it, and I was like, oh, you're right. You are right. I'm not sure what you're saying over there on TikTok. Unfortunately, I can't read that. Is there any chance you can type in English? Let me see if I can translate it real quick. Show how roofs work. I'll be honest with you. I don't have the roof demo on, but I can pull up a video. 1 second. I'm not loaded into the beta test. Stand by. Couple pictures with stuff. Well, I say kid, but he's actually an adult now. He's just, he's always going to be my kid. But anyway. So this is like a witch's hut with like a cool little kind of like improvised little barrier on the edge there. Going to be a lot of different roofs. I don't know where they're at. Here it is. Bunch of roofs. Stand by. And here we go. You mean Helsing? Right? Actually, he told me about it and showed me it, and he checked it out and showed me it recently. It's an interesting anime, and it would have been when I was a kid it came out. It's really, really insanely animated. Not for the faint of heart. But here are some examples of roofing. Just random things you could do. Yeah, with Alucard, the vampire who hates other vampires or whatever. If I remember correctly. But that being said, I've been watching anime since I was like probably 8. And then, I shared anime with him growing up, so he's watched quite a bit now. Let's see here. I'm going to show you all some of the interesting new things. One thing I'm very excited about is the fact that in the update, you'll be able to put the grid on top of everything. So a lot of, the grid is typically goes through terrain and under certain objects, and it's kind of set at a specific height, but now the object or the grid will be on top of everything. You can actually go into the grid menu, set that to render on top, and it'll always be on top. So that way it's more of a traditional view. I bet it'll help a ton with snow maps. A lot of maps it'll help with. Like, I really don't like it when it's a big forest and then the trees are essentially, you can't see the grid under it. You know what I mean? Hey, Rovo, how you doing? Let's play this a couple times so you can kind of see it. Can you guys and gals hear the audio from this right now or no? Okay, let's see if I fix this. I'm gonna flip it on. Should be able to hear it now. In the first Fun with Objects update, we're adding a major quality of life improvement to the grid tool. You can now set the grid on top of everything for a more traditional tabletop view. Fun with Objects is coming soon. I played with it this last week and fixed it. Figured out why it wasn't working. So it was disabled in one of my audio software configures. I have this Elgato software and it wasn't configured correctly on one end. More traditional tabletop view. Fun with Objects is coming soon. Stay tuned for more info. In the first Fun with Objects update, we're adding a major... I just muted it, by the way, so that's why it stopped. I'm just happy it works again. Delicious in Dungeon's pretty good. It's actually probably one of the better animes in a few years. Like, seems like a lot of anime lately has gone down in quality or has been like kind of more following a weird trend. Like, they have these really exorbitantly long names that like describe the exact situation of the name or of the anime. You know, like I got turned into a slime and now I got to survive in this dungeon or something like that. And then some of them are okay, but for the most part, they're kind of like whatever. I don't know. I grew up when, like, obviously on things like Gundam and Inuyasha and Sailor Moon and Dragon Ball and Dragon Ball Z and like I guess I have like I wouldn't say I have crazy standards, but I also there's certain anime like I just don't tolerate. JoJo is okay, but I like it in small doses. I enjoy JoJo for what it is. I celebrate JoJo for its quirkiness and being like this iconic anime, and its style of animation is so interesting. I think it's only something you can watch in small doses. I feel the same way about I'll probably get flamed over this, but One Piece. I find One Piece like I can only watch it in small doses and then I come back to it. Robotech, I grew up on Robotech. Let's see, what other things? I guess you might even consider stuff like Thundercats and like I don't know, what other anime did I watch growing up? Cow and Chicken. Animation, not anime. Very good though. Cow. Chicken? We all know you hate anime. Old man yelling at cloud. Zach. Voltron, good as well. I mean, Robotech and Voltron are like kind of birds of a feather, but Voltron was really good. Let's see. Let's get back. Oh, I turned the regular music. I'm like so glad y'all can hear my desktop audio though. That makes me so happy. Yeah, it's an incredibly he watched like a really sad Ghibli anime as his first anime. Like a really like it's essentially a documentary anime. I can't like I mean that's gonna make you kind of have a certain feels about it, a certain kind of trauma to it. I think my first anime I remember watching though is Akira, which is also kind of a traumatic anime when you're like 7 years old, 8 years old, but it's a good anime. Chim knew exactly what I was talking about by just describing it because it is gut wrenching. It's really sad. You know, I grew up in a place where it didn't snow much, so I didn't really have a sled. Man, it maybe snowed if I was lucky once every 5 years growing up. I remember visiting my cousin and it snowed, and we thought we brought the right clothing to be prepared. It was so freezing to me. And then we went sledding, and I swear in like 30 minutes, I got so cold and wet. Just wanted to go home. I was like, I get to play in the snow. I get to go sledding. No, it was the worst experience ever for me. I was not prepared at all. Because I grew up in a desert climate where it never really got that freezing. Like it gets cold at night, but it doesn't like snow. It's fireflies. It's essentially an anime telling or interpretation of the fire bombings during World War II in like in Japan, which were atrocious. But anyway, neither here nor there. Move on with that. This map here, looking at it, definitely more of that same nightmare-esque theme with the eyes and the... There's not many assets that really lend to the whole nightmare theme now that I'm thinking about it. I kind of put everyone in a small box, I think. I like this, though. The pit with the hands down below, a little bit different feel there, where you don't want to go down there. That's like you're descending into, some depth of hell. This could feel almost like you're in limbo. I grew up in Utah, which is essentially Arizona climate, unless you're in northern Utah. I grew up in southern Utah, so most of the time it didn't snow. I think I saw snow like 3 times in my youth, and it was melted by midday. No, screw. I'm not gonna. No. I don't want to do that. Just a quick reminder for everyone tuning in for their first time. My name is Mac. I am the community manager for Dungeon Alchemist. Whatever platform you're watching on, whether it's Twitch, TikTok, Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, Steam, if you have any questions, concerns, feedback, maybe you are curious about our next update, or you're just tuning in because you noticed we're on sale, please let me know if you have any questions or concerns. I'm here to provide you with any insight you might need. Think of these streams as AMA format, which means ask me anything. As long as it's Dungeon Alchemist related, I will do my best to provide you an answer or, some sort of support. To take home to like the dorm, because she's not gonna get it home to Australia unless she froze it, right? And then even then, you gotta freeze it on the plane. They'd be like, "What's this?" They're like, "Snow." Yeah, I grew up 20 minutes from Arizona. We could drive to pass through Arizona. Pretty easy. When do we get levers with a switching animation? That's a good question. I thought they did. Doesn't one of them do that? Oh, maybe you're... Oh, I was wrong. I'll bring it up. I'll ask them. Good question. I do know that makes sense for fun with objects, so I'll bring it up. And because, we're only in part 1 of it, so let's... Hopefully they get it solved for part 2. That was the wrong lever! Or was it the other lever? The other lever! So I grew up along the I-15. If you ever traveled the I-15, you've probably been close to my home at some point. No longer. Actually, technically, I still live along the I-15. Dang. What the hell? I moved away and still live on it. Oh, thank you, David. Appreciate it. Or is it Matthew David? Sorry, I read the last name first. I'm backwards day. These streams are kind of just a fun community event where people, from all around the world in our community, DMs, GMs, all, people considering getting Dungeon Alchemist, people who just like map making, can tune in, learn, ask questions, hang out with like-minded individuals. And it's not like we're charging you to use the space. So it's like a third space, a free space where you can, hang out and vibe and learn. So I currently live in Vegas, right? You know, like I love the idea of tutorial videos, like helping people. I always love when my videos help people, but I often worry if like, you know, like maybe there's something I missed or it doesn't cover everything that someone needed or there's something that I didn't cover. And whereas if we're in a stream, it's like if you're like, man, I don't know how to do this, I could show you and teach you how to do it like you're in a class or a course, you know? And I think that's a valuable thing in real time, so to speak. Kind of like a, I don't know, like a modern manual, if you will. Say hi to Penn and Teller. I've got some bad news for you. Didn't Teller pass away some time ago? Or is that I just came from a different like timeline? We do office hours every Wednesday, Dan, and that's on our Discord. So we do 3 streams a week. We do Monday, Wednesday, Saturday. So today, Saturday's stream is every other week is a different kind of theme. Today's stream is the Dam Challenge, which is a map making contest that is a bi-weekly map making contest. So we give people roughly 2 weeks to make their map and submit their entry before the next Dam Challenge stream. The opposite Saturday is called the Dam Stream. The Dam Stream, we showcase maps and assets that I find on the Steam Workshop. So I'll be kind of browse through here and find some cool maps, add them into my subscribed collection, and then showcase them throughout that stream. Or if people are on the channel watching, they can be like, hey, I just uploaded a map. Can you take a look? We'll pull it up, do that kind of stuff. We provide real-time support in that stream, every stream actually. And then on Monday, we do what's called Map Maker Monday, where I build a map in real time and people can kind of watch and share feedback and ideas, ask questions. So I'll drop anything to provide, I'll drop whatever I'm doing to provide support in any stream, but they're kind of all themed around a certain theme, each, you know, a certain thing, each one. So you tune in Monday if you want to learn how to build specific concepts and watch it happen. Or maybe you want to learn how to build a cemetery. That's the reason you tune in. That's what we're building right now. Now, I will say this, the next week, our stream schedule is actually kind of all over the place and different. It's the same days, but it's different things. Hold on, let me pull up our Discord. So if you are a member of our Discord, you can check our event panel right here in the top left. And the event panel actually shows you what's coming up in our streams or like different things going on in our community. Excuse me. So right now is the Dam Challenge happening this exact moment. Our next stream is the Fun with Objects reveal on Monday, actually. So the 30th, I'm going to be revealing Fun with Objects on stream, showcasing it. It'll be a live build. We have an itinerary of different features and things to showcase. This will essentially be as close to the update as it can get. So you'll be seeing features that will be in the update when it launches. Okay. This stream is taking place at the same time as Mapmaker Monday normally would be. So it's the same stream date or date and time, but it's just we're covering Fun with Objects instead of building a map this upcoming Monday. In fact, the next 3 streams, office hours, and also the next Dam stream are all overridden because we're doing 3 reveal streams, Monday, Wednesday, and Saturday. And then the following Monday, I'm actually doing Mapmaker Monday with the dev test. So I finally get to access all the graves and things from that, which will speed up my building so much. I'm so excited. Because it's like 3 days before launch, so I've been getting God authorization to continue using it on stream. So anyway, I highly recommend one of those 3 streams you tune into. In fact, let me drop the links for them really quick. If you're a member of our Discord, though, you can just go to the events panel and check it out. which is probably the best way to go because I can't share links on every platform at the moment, unfortunately. So that's the first event. That one's Monday, which is at 9 in the morning Pacific, 12 p.m. Eastern, 4 p.m. UTC. I just have to close my eye when I think about the time differences. Here is the one at on Wednesday in our Discord. It's exclusive to our Discord, which every Wednesday is when we do office hours. So those are Discord exclusive streams because we have like over 30,000 members in our Discord, but not everyone uses, you know, TikTok or Twitch or Facebook or even social media at all. Discord may be the only place they tune in to anything like that. So we stream there once a week to give our Discord members somewhere to hang out and ask questions and get support. But yeah, you could tune in to pretty much any stream, ask questions, and the next 3 streams, we're going to be having a lot of people in them, so we'll actually be following kind of a special rules for those streams to make sure everyone's questions get answered as best as possible. I'm probably going to make a group document for all the mods to kind of tune into and like put questions in, like a spreadsheet. And then we'll have basically when people tune in, they have a question during the reveal streams. You have to preface it by typing question and then the question after. That way it stands out in chat. Oh, you know what, man? I've been doing this for a few years now, so I think I've got it, kind of gotten it down. So that's probably why it seems like we're good. The last few reveal streams were a nightmare because I missed a few things or didn't have it all down pat. But now after doing it like a dozen times, I'm a lot better off now. Let's check out the next map from the Dam Challenge. This one I found incredibly interesting and terrifying. Hey Dan, sorry if I like rambled all over the place and was talking about different things. Sorry. Basic gist of it is 3 streams a week, Monday, Wednesday, Saturday. In our Discord, you can check the event panel and it shows you when they are, which days, what the theme or topic is. And then pretty much this next week is just a little different because instead of the normal stream schedule, it's the normal times and days, but different themes. Appreciate it. Sorry, I'm word salad sometimes. I have what I call streamer brain, and it affects all streamers alike, where we kind of just get sidetracked a lot and forget what we're talking about, or, you know, how it go. I'm sure many of you know from watching streamers. Anyway, so this one was intriguing because it's basically like an insane asylum or what, like someone's memories locked away, kind of like nightmares is how I perceived it. I appreciate the kind words, Screw. Honestly, I was just joking, by the way. Like I try my best to make sure our community is fun and inviting. You know, with the tools and time and budget I'm given, I think what I think is the best I could possibly do. But if you look at each of these, they kind of have their own nightmare. Like this one's hands reaching for the bed. Here's a bunch of Eliza's, which would be my own personal nightmare. Here we have kind of like, you know, Cthulhu coming from the darkness. Here we have eyes, like they're watching them. This one is like, I guess, fog or smoke coming in, or maybe pulling them into the chest. This is what Kevin from Home Alone feared in his basement. The furnace talking to him. There's this just a bunch of skeletons, so death, I'm assuming, is the theme there. Each of them kind of has their own theme. Here is animals, so, you know, the wild, or... Yeah, it's almost like a memory bank. You know how you've seen memories portrayed as like a hallway with doors that you can open and like look inside and see people's memories? They often do that in like animation or in a CG scene in movies or like mind-bending movies. It kind of gave me that vibe mixed with an insane asylum. Bill and Ted's Hell, yeah. There's been a few movies that have done that to a degree. Here we have, you know, like a specter at the foot of their bed. Could you imagine you're trying to sleep and the specter's just staring at you? Fire. Like, I'm sure each of these are a resonating fear to a degree with some people. Being buried alive, this one's terrifying. It's just like the bed's down in the dirt. Oh my. That is anxiety inducing for sure. Like, I don't know if flower bed. Oh my gosh, Zach. I think I might ban you for that dad joke. House of phobias, right? Spiders, water. Do any of you ever do that thing where you're maybe like sleeping and then you like jerk up, wake up really quick because you felt like you were falling in your sleep? Enanus Deus, I honestly don't think standalone doors are going to be in the next update, probably in Fun with Objects Part 2. It's on our roadmap, is coming up next. So it looks like they're working on it, and I see it in our roadmap, like our internal roadmap, right? But I haven't seen any examples of it in the current dev build that's going to be like pretty much the live build in the next 12 days. So, and it's not in our patch notes, so I'd wager it'll be in Fun with Objects too. Yep, Hypnic Jerk, or is it Hypnic Jerk or Hypnotic Jerk? Either way, it happens to me all the time. Sorry I missed that earlier, by the way. But the thing is also just keep in mind, you can put doors at any height now and windows because you'll have levels. So you'll be able to attach doors and windows to the levels you draw above. So it's not as restricting anymore. And if you want to do a freestanding door by itself, just in the middle of nowhere, I'll show you how to do one real quick. So there's several ways, actually. One, there are doors on the workshop, right? Not a huge selection, but there's a few. So if you type door or doors, I just probably type door. There's a few. I've uploaded a couple myself. I know there's a few wooden doors, different futuristic, modern, different themes. You know, there's about 4 pages of doors that are available here. So you could use one of these. These can go at any height. You can raise them up and down. You can, scale them all around. Essentially, you just got to disable collisions and the object can be raised up and moved wherever because it's an object. Now, if you want to use one of our doors and just put it in the middle of nowhere, let me show you an example. Like this rock arch, right? What you can do is you go to the room tool and draw like a simple 3x3 room, right? And I'm actually going to generate it with no objects, no walls, no floors, okay? So let's regenerate it with... I'm going to go and find this exact floor because I'm pretty sure it's like a natural dirt pattern. Yep. This is actually technically a room already, but I'm putting a smaller one here just to show you. I'm going to go to the door tool again, grab that arch. That one too big? No. I might have done it too big. I do need a wall there. Why am I just brain dead today? You know what? Let me fix that really quick. I'll just throw a wall on. We've got this kind of section here. And then we add that door to it. So essentially, it's kind of like a door in the middle of nowhere. Now, keep that in mind. Gotcha. So you're trying to do something specific with a door you like. That makes sense. So what exactly are you trying to do? You just more or less want to scale them, and that's it? You'd like to be able to scale the existing selection? Or let me better grasp this so I can speak to it better. So you want to use our doors more freely, different, maybe if there was all sizes for every door, single, double, triple. So it's like you could put that same style door in a smaller space. Is that what you're trying to do? Gotcha. Okay. That makes sense. Or to be able to freely scale our doors is the alternative. I get you now. I'm sorry that took me a minute to grasp. Should have just asked that from the beginning. I assumed I knew what you meant, because 90% of the time people just want to put a door wherever, not necessarily rescale it. I foresee a problem with that is because our doors are tied intrinsically to our room generation AI. And when you start scaling them or messing with them, that starts messing with how they generate or place. So if we just made, say, 3 versions of every door, so there's smaller versions and larger versions, that way, or at least options for, you know, a single, double, and triple of every style, then it probably would work better, at least in the current design, and that way they would generate in rooms naturally too. Now, that being said, I have been told multiple times that certain things like our walls, doors, windows, floors, being dependent on our room generation AI are things that they kind of want to make it more flexible so it can generate more types of shapes and structures and be more, you know, just more viable for anything you want to make. But yeah, I agree. Freescale is always the best. And it is nice that you can, you know, disable collisions and scale objects freely. So that same freedom with doors and windows would be amazing. Typically, when I want a wall that's freescale, I'll go in and grab a freestanding wall. It'd be nice to have freestanding doors or windows too. But that also was always intended as a band-aid solution for when we got to a point to do multi-level. It only scales up objects in the universal scaling tool, and unfortunately, it doesn't scale the objects in the room generation. So it's when you scale it here, let's say you set it to 50%, the room generation is not affected by that currently. I do wish that you could change the scale of the objects and then you could generate them with that scale, but I don't think that's something that's going to be at least in Fun with Objects. So essentially, we got like what is an insane asylum, right? With nightmare fuel in every room. Move on to the next map. This one was really great, actually. Sailor Ugot did a great job. It very much reminds me of like a Silent Hill kind of vibe. You know, Resident Evil, Silent Hill type vibe. And honestly, I love when you see kind of a modern rendition map done really well in Dungeon Alchemist. Oh my goodness, Artful Darkness. I am so sorry. Thank you for all the likes. I appreciate you so very, very much. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Artful Darkness has always got our back on TikTok, it seems like. I'm like vaguely remembering a level that was basically just like this in either Silent Hill or Resident Evil. Very creepy, eerie. Got these big apartment blocks, like a central park in there, like a little small park in the center area. Everywhere you look are just tons of animals, birds, and cat. But no people. Ooh, what's that? No, thank you. It's not real. It can't hurt you. I want to make sure it wasn't. Don't say that. Say the Z word. Oh, friend from before. Hey, Julia, welcome back. Geronimo, you taking off, brother? I'll send you your prize before Monday afternoon, okay? Well, Monday afternoon in the States, so probably a little late for your part if it's that day, but I'll try and get it sooner than later, okay? Next couple of days. Congratulations again, Geronimo, on your win of the Dam Challenge. Your map was very creepy. And this really does capture that kind of rotten city block. Oh, you meant the map? Gotcha. Yeah, everywhere I want to look, there's that scary thing. Oh, I love the trash here. So good. Isn't that some of the detritus you uploaded, Sack? That looks like some of the stuff you uploaded. Good combination of stuff in. Ooh, the blood. Man, this looks legit. Other than the rat running in place. Oh yeah, this looks really good. Lots of detail. You can always rely on Sailor Yugoth to throw a lot of detail into their maps. See them lurking. I don't know if they're actually here though. They may be busy or... Let's take a look at the top down though. It's a very clean build. What's up, Chim? Norman Die, are you talking about the map uploader? Ah, gotcha. Yeah, they have uploaded some items before, so that makes sense. It could be theirs. Sorry for the yawns, everyone. I've been so busy lately. The other day I worked like, I think it was like 17, 18 hours. Tons of prep work and getting everything kind of sorted and lined up the next couple of weeks. Master Splinter. What? Because of my hat that looks kind of like rat ears? Technically, actually, I've got a Pokemon on my head. A Magikarp. Oh, pulled it off. Check it out. Master. Funny. Oh, I'm good, man. I get it. And honestly, like I thrive in these situations. I've been waiting, to be honest. Like the last few months, I felt like my hands were tied and in the dark, and I couldn't really do a whole lot, you know? But now I'm like getting all the information and dates, and things are locked in, and if I can finally, like, you know what I mean? Like, it was a little chaotic the last few months because we weren't sure when we'd be launching the update. So I kept, like, I don't know. There was a couple times where the devs kind of hinted at dates or months, and then we ended up pushing it back. That happened like 3 times. So I'm of the mind to not give a month until we're ready kind of mindset. But it's whatever. Once they give a date and the, you know, that toothpaste is out of the tube, it's like a specific date. We're committed to it. I'm happy. I get to put out a bunch of teasers, stuff I've been prepping for a while and wanting to shoot or whatever. Honestly, I had a vacation just before this. Last month, I went up and traveled and went and visited my grandfather for like a week. So I got a good little break before all this. But honestly, like, I'm just, the reason I'm working extra hours is the devs there in Belgium and I'm in the US in Vegas. So I have very little time I can confer with them and communicate, you know, unless it's like a game of telephone where it's back and forth messages. So if I want to communicate with them and get on the same page, and it's basically necessity in the at least the coming weeks up to the launch to be up early and go to bed late. So I'll kind of like be up early, chatting with them, working around, you know, getting information from them and passing on my plans and ideas to them, and working with Wim to get graphics and stuff like that. And it's been this whole process. But basically, I just built like a storyboard for the trailer, which Wim and I are going to go through on Monday and see if it's, you know, what he likes, and then start attributing maps and scene ideas to it, and put together a shooting plan for all the footage, right? And then if there's any last minute things that need to be done map wise, we do them and start shooting footage, and then I edit it all. All while every day I release another teaser for y'all that has got voiceover and captions and demonstrates a new feature. It kind of did, though, right? A little bit. The COVID did disqualify it a little bit. I was sick for like 3 weeks immediately after. It sucked. That being said, though, after this launch, I think we're going to kind of be grinding pretty hard because we don't want to have another update that's like a year in between. The devs are kind of committed to speeding up the release schedule, and I think our biggest development hurdle left, which is multi-level and roofing, has been addressed now. So yeah, you're neighbors with the devs basically, right, Julia? They are so far away, I have honestly never met them in person. Sailor Yugoth, if you're here, love your map, great design. Thank you for sharing it as an entry. Honestly, it was a very top competitor. I was considering making this one the winner. There was 3 of them in my mind that were the top competitors that really were like, oh gosh, didn't notice that guy before, that were nightmare fuel. You know what I mean? And this one felt like that. It's a great job. Ugh. I need a 130-day vacation twice a, or no, 180-day vacation twice a year. This map was made using imported assets from the workshop. So they either imported the assets themselves, but most of them were recovered from the workshop. So if you actually download this map, you would get all the assets in it, which it's available in our Discord or on the Steam Workshop. It's labeled Modern City Horror. But typically what I do when I'm trying to grab a theme, or like maybe I want to make a modern map or an apocalyptic map or a sci-fi map, I'll go onto the workshop for maps and look up, say, modern or sci-fi or whatever, and then you'll see a couple of maps have been made in a modern aesthetic. Like this one here, the snack bar one is pretty good. And when you download that map, it downloads all the assets that were used in the map, so then you have access to them in your collection. They'll be located in your object menu. Click here in the object menu and go to the downloaded objects section, or if they've been given a category, they'll be put in one of the many object categories within Dungeon Alchemist. Joel, that's a good question. You know, I think High Seas is one I'm very excited for. Mainly because I love the idea of shipbuilding, and also the different biomes that might be entailed in that particular update. I think that's something we're kind of limited on at the moment, you know, ships and any type of sea that is not just like an ocean or a lake. We need more diversity there, and we need better options to build like port cities. But I would love to see an astral sea biome. I'd love to see like a sky biome where it's like you're in the clouds or something like that. And I'd love to see a shipbuilder where you can build custom ships in our shipyard kind of area that allows you to build, you know, custom all sorts of different wonky ships that fit your, you know, your own designs or aesthetics. But yeah, this map here is definitely done using imported assets, and it's actually quite well done. Sailor Yugoth is a very talented map maker. Every time they start downloading, you know, assets from the workshop, they end up making a masterpiece. So really impressed with this build. Overall, just really fun. So like, for instance, people have made floating islands in Dungeon Alchemist before, but they use what's called abstract images to put like clouds underneath. So these little green kind of objects, these can be reprogrammed with an image, right? You could put like a sky backdrop in there and then stretch it across the whole ground area, the bottom. Yeah, the fog in this map really sells it for sure. There is actually a sky map on the workshop. I think it's called Sky Island or something like that. There's a few that do it pretty well, but they use a combination of, you know, tricky objects like that and forced perspective. This one here, Sky Island Alchemist Workshop. Probably one of the best examples of a sky map I've ever seen. Check that out, y'all, if you ever want to see a good example of like, because there's lower islands, upper islands, airships, clouds, all sorts of stuff. And they use a combination of, you know, the far away objects are shrunk down to make them seem far away, with the things up close or the big, you know, up and present area that you're going to be at and investigating as a player, having encounters or whatever. Okay, let's open up the next map from the damn challenge. We've got 3 left. 45 minutes. Forced perspective is probably the best way to tackle like regional or world maps in Dungeon Alchemist, or something like that where it's meant to feel very big and vast, like a sky island, where it's way above another island off in the distance, you know, or very high in the sky. This map here was quite quite epic, and it says it's a map recreation of the Nightmare of Mensis map from Bloodborne. So if you played Bloodborne, you might recommend this, or you might recognize this. And they said they made it from memory, so it's not an exact match. But regardless, I think it looks good. Check it out. Julia, I'm glad we're helping you find inspiration. Julia, yeah, give me a minute and I'll show you how to do that actually after we showcase this map. Is that cool? Because I want to open up a different map to do it, but I only just opened this one. So if you give me just like a few minutes, we'll take a look. Sound good? So you need some things to remember. You can make rooms without walls, floors, doors, etc. They're called organic rooms, or essentially what do they call them in here? Sorry. They say non-flat room now. They used to be called organic rooms. That was the old term. So you can make a space that generates the objects that would be inside of that room in a natural space. Maybe you want like an open air smithy out on the ground in the middle of kind of like a forest, or a bandit camp or a traveling camp of some sort. So there's that method. Non-flat rooms essentially generates every room without the walls, windows, doors, and it can generate it at different heights. So like if it's a non-flat space, it'll fill in all of this area. The alternative is you can generate a regular room without these things on it. So if you go to AI settings, you can generate it without objects, without walls, windows, doors, all those things, just floors or no floors, whatever. That is kind of a bummer that there's no tooltip option for walls that you can just highlight it and find out what the name is and then go find the other one. You're going to have to look very carefully, and it only gets harder as we add more walls. Give me a few minutes, I'll show you the other method. At least you have one to kind of think about, kind of kick around in your brain, and then we'll show you the other option here in a bit. Dying or something. Hurt for no reason. Some of the paints for the ground, you mean like the terrain paints? Or you mean like the floors? Floors, walls, windows, or floors and walls don't have labels, but the doors and the, wall or windows do. So that's helpful. But yeah, it would be good if you could like hover and maybe hold a key and get the name of it. Zarovich, how you doing? A lot's changed and a big update's on the horizon. Just on July 10th, we're launching our next major update. So, I mean, if you thought it's changed now, wait until the next update launches. Honestly, this is a great example of a multi-level map done in the current Dungeon Alchemist kind of build that is, just objects stacked on top of each other. I imagine this map took some serious doing and time to get just right. This is your map, huh? Ah, cool. Okay, I like this a lot, actually. You did a great job. Can I ask how long it took you to make? 2 days? Dang. So I'm assuming you played a lot of Bloodborne, and that's why you were inspired to make a map in that setting? My son would probably recognize this, because I'm pretty sure he's played like a lot of Bloodborne. Isn't that like one of those like Elden Ring type games? where it's like you torture yourself more than have fun when you're playing. It's a FromSoft title, yes. Gotcha. I'm pretty sure he has Bloodborne 1, 2, and 3, and then also, yeah, Elden Ring and the like. This is a great map, Ananus. Your name is, I'm just going to call you Deus, because... Anyway, you got me. And Nani? Yeah, this is special. This is really well done. You seen on the Discord, Zarovich? Nice. What you been up to as of late? Oh, it is Dark Souls. Never mind, I'm thinking of. Yep, never mind. I don't know. He might have Bloodborne as well. I don't know. He has a lot of those games. He loves them. I could be totally wrong, though. I don't play them. I don't, like I said, I don't really like torturing myself when I play a video game. I like torturing myself when I play tabletop games. That's why I play D&D. So when Dungeon Alchemist exports a multi-level map in the next update, okay, every floor essentially is treated like its own map. So when you export it, it will export each level as a separate JPEG with its own JSON file if it's Foundry, or you know, the associated data file for whatever platform you're using. If you're exporting as a video or an animated map, it'd give you a video file and the associated data file. So for every level. And you can choose to export essentially all levels, I believe, or just the visible level, like the one you're on, I believe is an option, and then all levels and roofing. So it's essentially like you can, it'll do every single level and the roof level, or every single level without the roof level, or I think just the level you're on, I believe. I can't 100% remember. Sorry, it's been a minute. My batch menu and menu exporter menu has been broken for like the last 2 weeks, and I've been working with Quentin to get it fixed, and we got it fixed like yesterday. So I haven't been able to play around in the batch menu or anything like that for a while. So batch exporting is a feature in the next update that was added because essentially with all of these levels, you know, it needed to be exported as a batch, right? So we designed a way for Dungeon Alchemist to export each level one after another. And then we also thought, why not improve upon that and give our community more options? So the batch exporter allows you to export a map multiple times, with multiple variations. So let's say you want to export it from night, morning, afternoon, evening, snow. Maybe you want to export it animated, non-animated, 72 DPI, 150 DPI, with a grid, without a grid. Now, let's say you're a creator who makes maps for, say, Patreon, or you know, you do commission work. A lot of times they'll export hundreds or like, you know, dozens of variations. I think Sax says he does like 90 plus variations of every map because he does it for, you know, grid, gridless, morning, afternoon, evening, night, snow, different DPIs, different virtual tabletops, and it starts stacking exponentially as you do that. So with a batch exporter, you can create various formats of your favorite batch types or export types. So maybe every map you make, you maybe export it several times. Maybe only you'll export it once, so the batch exporter isn't for you. But if you export every map maybe several times with like a morning and a night, where there's like night light setup, or a snow version if your players visited in the winter or whatever, it's a great usage for those who are essentially exporting multiple variations of each map. But it also supports the multi-level exporting. So even if you're not, exporting dozens of variations of each map, the batch exporter will still be kind of the foundation of the regular exporter when you export a multi-level map. But a batch exporter will save a ton of people. Yeah, we're gonna take a break on the Dam Challenge for the next 2 weeks. So we talked about it at the very beginning of the stream. We have decided to take a break for the next 2 weeks, and when we come back on the 12th, the next Dam Challenge stream is the 12th. So when we come back on the 12th, we'll announce the next theme, which is Fun with Objects. So you'll know in advance right away. But everyone gets access on the 10th, so it's like maybe a 2-day head start at best, So basically the plan is to just give everyone a couple weeks off, and when we come back, it'll be Fun with Objects on the new update, giving everyone a chance to build a fun new map in the new update and get to explore it and, put themselves to the test. Basically, the Dam Challenge will return on the 12th. That's when we'll talk about the next theme, and then we will and then on the 26th is when we'll reveal the winner of the Fun with Objects Dam Challenge. Well, the theme will be announced on the 12th, technically, but I've already announced it. It's kind of a known thing. Every update, the first Dam Challenge is themed after the update. Just kind of a tradition. We've been doing that since as long as I remember now. So everyone's kind of just anticipating that. Plus, we also spoke about this earlier and announced it. So essentially, it's just a 2-week break on the Dam Challenge. And then when we come back on the 12th, I'll publicly announce, around then in the Discord and on stream what the theme is. And then people can start submitting their entries after that. And then, yeah, when we stream on the 26th, that it will be when you get the idea. Anyway. And Ani, honestly, this map is really cool. I'm impressed with the level of detail, and I noticed there's like all these little like under areas that are navigable if you have a token that's the right height. That's really cool. I see Eliza there though, so you just lost points on your map. I'm just kidding. So, Masked Echo, if an abstract object is an object, so it's tied to either the floor or the height it's at. If the floors are below that, it'll most likely be not visible. However, if you put it way, way above and then say block it, as an object, it could potentially block the whole map if it's big enough. Honestly, why would you want to do that? I'm just curious. Can you explain your use case here so I can understand? There's a spider room in... Oh, no, thank you. Old Shelob. Scary. If you can elaborate on that, I would love to understand it more, like the use case. I'm assuming you're going to want to raise an abstract up to like the roof level, right? And then export just the roof with the abstract so you can make it a transparent background to use it as a foreground layer. That's kind of what I'm assuming you want to do. Oh, clouds around the castle? Gotcha. I mean, what I would do if you're going to do effects like that on one map that would be much higher in the map, right? When you're at a higher level, or only matter for that level, file, save as, make a separate version of the map that you export again with those effects, objects, abstracts in them. So you have a very specific export and version of the map that isn't interrupted or deviated. So you just essentially have a splintered version. One is the main one export with all of the levels, and the other one is for your abstract purposes or effects. And then you essentially, because you're going to be importing them as scenes into your virtual tabletop anyway, each level will be its own scene. Then you can pick and choose which ones you want. You're like, well, I actually like this green screen abstract one. I'm put it in Photoshop, remove the green screen, made it transparent. I'd rather use this one than the stock, export. Oh, and I added clouds at this height. And rather than them being visible at all heights, especially when you're down on the outside level, you'd be under the clouds, right? You'd want to be able to be seen, not be invisible. So I assume if it is visible for some reason because it's at that level and still visible in the camera, that it'd probably be best to have a separate map that you do that on. That's something I haven't experimented with personally, so I can't speak to it 100%. So I experiment and play with the update, and I try to see if things work, and then I'm thinking, man, I've covered everything. Nope. No matter how much I do, there's always questions y'all will come up with that I never considered. But I do think there will be some version of what you want to do available, either through, separating the map into 2 saves or playing around with the export a little bit. Honestly, I think a lot of people are going to have a lot of questions right off the bat. So, man, I don't even know if I'll have it done in time because I'm just so focused on teasers and the trailer. I want to have a tip video to showcase how to raise up and stuff. So I think it's going to be a little 30-second, minute-long video that's hey, this is how you jump up levels. This is how you add a level. You know what I mean? Because a lot of people understand how to draw a room and shape a room, but they won't know this new feature. It just all exports to the same folder, Rev. However, each level is, I'm assuming, labeled differently. So it's just slightly, because it's got a little number or attachment to it. Very cool. And this collider's off, so we can just put this token wherever the junk. Oh, it fell right when I did that. Found a spot. Oh my gosh. There. Shrink this down a little bit. Ah. No. Oh, here. Whoa. Yeah, it's a neat one. The moon is very nice. Hello, moon. Very cool build. Fantastic entry. I'm excited to see what you make in the future. This is very interesting, and I think when multi-level launches, you'll be right at home for sure. Pain. Random. I guess I'll just go take all of these shirts, get in this random hot dog car. Random. Your first entry ever? Well, I loved it. It was fantastic, and I encourage you to keep entering. Honestly, if that's your first, entry like that, you're bound to release some lightning in a bottle before too long. It was a really good map and definitely a top contender in my mind. Very good build. I appreciate it. You have an eye and you understand how the object organizing works, and you figured out, how to properly scale and raise things up. It's crazy because I've seen people who jump into DA and just get that right away, and I've seen people who have had it for like 2 years and don't even know you can do that. It's kind of fun to see people progress at like different points in their map making. But if you're just getting into the potential of playing, DMing or being, a storyteller in that way, a GM, more power to you. And honestly, I encourage you to join our Discord if you're not already a member. Oh, I guess you are if you submitted your map. Great place to, talk with other GMs. The GM chat and off topic typically have a lot of information. You did a great job. You did a great job. So this map here, Nightmare of the Grief Takers. Huh. Let's see if there's a description really quick. I don't know what day it is, but I can't get the spell to work. If I had just been faster, if I hadn't have been late, she wouldn't have gone fishing. I stole the book, but it says I need ingredients. Lucky I think I know where to go. It didn't work. My little girl is still stolen from me. What crops we're getting by the snow have rotten. There is this strange black flame, and I swear I hear her voice on the chill of the wind, day or night. Nightmares, are they real? I thought I saw her on the river in that damn spot. I stare at the petrified hand, the orb, and caught sight of a hand making for the window. I know I can make the spell work, and when it's done, the dead can have what I stole. But I don't have much food left. Managed to secure what I can to give me more time. I can't fail. The others have abandoned me because I wouldn't give up, but her time was taken too soon. They can't have her. Interesting. The land is rotten away by a mysterious curse. The dead won't stay that way anymore. Who stands between them? Who stands before they destroy more lives? The people cry out as the snow brings further dangers. Interesting. I like that little hook there. It kind of reminds me of like Balin's journal in Moria. We hear drums in the deep. They are coming. So it seems like this guy's trying to use a spell to bring his daughter back. Sort of how I'd imagine, like, I don't know, what is that anime? Shoot, it's on the tip of my tongue. Full Metal Alchemist? Where his brother, are like, they're trying to bring back, someone they lost, and then in the process of it, he ends up making it worse and essentially kills his brother and bonds him to a suit of armor, his spirit. Full Metal, yep. A lot like Full Metal, actually. It reminded me of it. Just kind of has that same kind of vibe, at least the way the story played out, and someone's trying to use a spell or alchemy to bring back a loved one. It's funny because it's like the name was like right in front of me, Dungeon Alchemist, Full Metal Alchemist, but I'm like, so what's the first part? Man, it's been a long time since I've watched that anime. It's mainly because it makes me so sad. I want to turn on the light just so I can see what's going on in these houses here. Definitely like a spell happening here. Someone trying to revive someone. It looks like he died in the process. And then it's just released all the spirits from, you know, looks like the Nether Realm from Minecraft here. It's actually pretty cool. I like that. This is really neat. Simple, but like to the point, you know? Up here. This one's made by Helapi or Halapi? Halapi? Anyway, I don't know if I butchered their name, and I'm not sure if they're here watching under another name or the same name, but pretty awesome entry. I mean, it's already bad enough to survive in like a winter, you know, like a frozen winter environment. And then you add in the fact that there's like a curse or some element of like the dead are trying to attack. It just makes it awful. I think a zombie, you know, type situation in like a frozen tundra where the zombies just like aren't affected by it because like I don't know, either they can't get frozen or it's just warm enough for them to be alive, or they're magical zombies or whatever would be terrifying. It's bad enough surviving from, you know, in a regular zombie apocalypse. You add the winter. Ugh. Yeah, I said that, and then I realized after I said it right away, I'm like, there's no way me. I said it. I don't know if you heard me. I was like, actually, you're already in the Discord because I've already seen your map because it was in the damn challenge. So you have to be in the Discord to join. So I said that right after and apologized. I'm not sure if you heard me earlier. Like I put two and two together. Honestly, like I said, I'm a little tired today because I was like looking at stuff last night until late, writing up documents and scripts and fun. Recording voiceover. I do so many takes of voiceover. I swear, one of these days I'm going to set up a camera and a mic just to record my outtakes of voiceover. You guys can watch that because, oh my goodness, I have a meltdown sometimes. I'll get it like the entire script in one take and mess up it right at the very end. And I don't like mixing audio, so I'll try and do most of my stuff in one take. So that's kind of on me, but it is so frustrating. Say less. Well, I wouldn't call it ASMR so much as it's just me getting frustrated and swearing at myself for messing up. Oh, mother. Or I'll flub and say something wrong, like the wrong word, and I'll be like, blah, 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 blah. What did I just say? Like just outtakes, essentially. Hours and hours of me messing up. I like this a lot. It has a good vibe. I do feel the Full Metal vibe coming off of it. I don't know if that's what they were going for. Snow's not so much Full Metal, but more like the bringing back a loved one. The demons not so much. Anyway, cool map nonetheless. I think we've got our last map here, which is Tim's. Ugh. Your smallest map and shortest video. I was gonna say, for you, this is kind of a smaller map for your entries. This is cool though. I like the big crater you got going on here. It looks like just a big shock of damage went through this. Like a wave, like a shock wave. Destroyed in a straight line. Yes, Chim's really conducting herself nicely with this entry. Yeah, it's like just underneath, so you see it when it passes through. Flying above here. Where is the... What the heck is that shadow from? I see these. Oh, there they are. Way up here. Saw the shadows way over there. I was like, okay. Really cool, Chim. So what's the inspiration? Give us the elevator pitch, Chim. I see there's a big hammer laid here. A divine smite. Nice. This is how paladins see their divine smites. I'm just kidding. Divine smites are OP, actually. In the early game, I think Divine Smite's like one of the highest damage outputs you can get. Crazy. What's the story with this like statue guy? Did he become like... Did he get turned into stone when he used his Divine Smite and broke all this? Ah, he's like a one-punch man. I feel like Kung Fu Hustle was a movie my mother-in-law liked and watched, but I don't think I ever saw it. Hey, Nani, we'll see you later. Hope to check out your entries in the future. And again, great job on your first entry. We'll see you around. You're welcome back on any stream, in fact. Very cool, Chim. So the way I kind of perceived this when I first saw it is the person who did this attack did some kind of like, essentially, obviously a divine smite, but it was like essentially a legendary smite where they maybe had an outro and died and saved their party. And I see them kind of frozen like a statue in that they kind of made a sacrifice and were hardened and turned into stone. That's how I perceived it, at least at first. To do this massive damage and attack, they had to sacrifice themselves in the process. More likely saving their party members or whatever. That's the narrative I had built when I had first seen it. But I like your explanation. And I'll have to check out the video. They don't see as the Medusa. We got a few minutes left. I want to ask the audience, everyone here, okay? What is your favorite spell in 5e? Or I guess in your tabletop game of choice. If you don't play 5e, let's hear your favorite spell in your tabletop game of choice. The funk of 40,000 years and grisly ghouls from every tomb are closing in to seal your doom. And though you fight to stay alive, your body starts to shiver. For no known mortal can resist the evil of the Thriller. Vincent Price is the man. One of my favorite, like, early Hollywood actors. Yes, I will do that, Julia. Let's do that. Thank you for reminding me. Chew. And remind me what your initial question was one more time. You wanted to generate something without walls and doors and stuff like that, right? With walls but no floor. Okay, so what you would do is select the room type you want to generate, right, Julia? And then you would go into AI settings, and then just uncheck everything but floors. Okay? So that would make a flattened floor for you, but then everything else is gone. If you want to generate it without a floor, meaning you use the natural environment, you go to non-flat rooms, right? You could, my favorite example is the open air smithy, because I imagine a smithy would be outside sometimes because it's hot, right? In a village, it makes sense where you're shoeing a horse or whatever. A farrier / smithy might want it outside. Something like this, you just generate the exact same thing but outside. So we could do an outside potion class if we wanted to. Okay, so you want to build a wall room, but you can't erase the walls. That's easy. I can help you with that. Let's generate a normal room with walls. For now, let's just leave off doors and windows just to show it as a walled room, and I'll leave off objects too so it's less cluttered. And I'm just going to generate a regular structure. I'm going to actually make it round. No, we won't. We'll keep it normal shape. Only walls, okay? So I unchecked everything under AI settings except for walls and floors. Oh, you only want walls, no floors. So I'll uncheck the floors. Now, let's say you want to remove a wall. You go into the wall tool. Okay, you have several tabs up here. These are the different tools within the wall tool, or the wall, section. Go to minus, right? And then if you only want to remove like a single wall, set that brush really small and then just erase a single wall. But you can erase down a whole line if you want, like that, or you can do one or two of them. Gotcha. So you want to make like a maze. That's, yeah, really easy. Weird. Not letting me attach it here. You know what? It's because there's no floor. Interesting. Let's do a natural floor. Let's try this way. Remember, in the floor rooms, you do have natural floors, so you could do dirt or like grass in a labyrinth still, right? Well, while it feels outdoor, you could still very much have walls added onto it. But yeah, you should be able to add a wall here once you select it. There we go. So let's find a similar, let's say you wanted to do hedges, right? Maybe a hedge maze for your thing. I'm just gonna grab that as a test. And then we could start holding shift and placing them in, making a little maze. Change the walls here. Hey, thank you for that follow, by the way, Inani. Much appreciated. Let's change all the walls here. But this is a very small size, but you get the idea. You would use the place wall tool, and then you could just put them in however you want. Make them into a maze of all sorts, if that's what you're going for, or a labyrinth. I'm using the hedge wall because it seems like an ideal fitting, but you could use any wall you want. An ice maze, iron maze. You could have it be, plaster walls or stone walls, whatever you want that fits your narrative. But then just change the floor. What do you mean it's not possible to do it all with one wall? Of course it is. You just got to know which wall you're using the whole way through, or change all the walls to one wall. Notice how I just did it? You can go through and change all the walls in a single room or individual rooms to all match. So, notice here in the change walls tool, I just selected the wall I liked and I put it on there. Let's say I wanted this one. So in 2 clicks, I changed all the walls in this room. These are room walls. These are the same room walls used in this generation. I'm just changing it to whatever one I want. Remember, Julia, you don't have to use the walls that were generated in the room. You can override them with any wall in this menu. So let's say you wanted a wall to be a labyrinth wall, right? That looks more like set to your needs. And in fact, because there's not a labyrinth room type, you could pick any room you want, just generate it and change everything about it. That's why generating it without all this stuff is nice, because it doesn't set the flavor and you can. So you can go in and pick any wall you want, maybe set it as a favorite, so that way it's always in your favorite menu and you can set it for every wall in the entire maze. Now, if you want to change just one of them, like a singular wall to have a few of them be different, that's also possible. I'm going through and changing them one at a time. Or I could change the entire area with a single click. Only the wall types? Is there a certain wall you're trying to make that we don't have in the wall types? I'm confused by that. I feel like I'm missing what you're trying to do here. So if you want to erase a wall for an opening, you just go into the remove wall brush, right? And then just erase a wall. Anywhere you want an opening, you can remove a wall or two. And you can even make these like if you actually had a wall there, you could technically make it an arch, which is an opening too. You could do something like this, or, you know, one of these stone arches to get in and out of the maze. So you have ways in and out besides deleting a wall. You could use an arch. I tried to change the walls. I drew into the room type wall. So remember, make sure you're in the wall menu and make sure you're in the right tool, right? So if you're in this one, it'll change all of the walls simultaneously in that room. If you're in this one, you can change them one at a time. Just pick the wall you want and then paint it on. So here we have wood, right? I'm going to just change this center section to wood. And every wall has two sides, so you need to paint both sides of it. There's an inner wall and an outer wall, technically, for all walls. So you can have mix and match of different types of walls. You can have, you know, each wall be a different one, or different sides of the wall be a different one. Okay. So it generated an AI wall you aren't happy with. That's what we talked about 5 minutes ago. I said, if you're not happy with the wall it generated, ignore what it generated, come into the room, into the wall menu, and find a wall you like, and then just change it. You don't need to be dependent on what it generated or trying to match it if you can't find the exact one. But I will tell you this, they are divided by category. So if the wall you're looking at is stone, it'll be in the stone section. If it's wood, it'll be in wood. If it's plaster, and so on. They tend to have a matching theme to them, and they're pretty easy to find that wall once you're in the subcategory. So every wall okay, wait. A wall you created or a wall that's in the wall tool? What do you mean a wall you created? Were you using the freestanding walls in the object menu? Because these are completely different story. But if I was making a labyrinth, I would use the room tool. I'd probably just draw like a big room, like the size of the whole map, right? I do remember Julia was saying she wanted to upload some stuff to the workshop or whatever, so she might have uploaded some stuff. But like right here, this is the exterior of the maze, right? I could have that be the whole wall, or if I don't like it, I could change it. I could also make sure there's floor in here by inserting a floor, or I could just use the natural terrain and paint over it with the terrain brushes, which is kind of neat, but also kind of flat options depending on which biome you're in. Oops. So now I've got this whole space walled off and I could start turning it into a maze, essentially. I guarantee you those walls are in the wall section. Just think, what type is it? What category of wall would it fall into? If you look at it at a glance, is it wooden? Is it stone? Is it metal? Is it natural? So if you say the category, we could start looking now. And I would just, like, let's say it's made of stonework like this, where it's, you know, cut stone put together. Just start looking in the stone walls. Scrolling down, you're bound to find it. Now, I know it's kind of a bummer that it's not labeled. Let's just chalk that up to early access woes. So the room walls right here, these ones that are in here, are the types that are generated from these rooms. It's just certain rooms have certain walls attributed to them by default. So whatever room type you generated will have certain walls by default attributed to it. Most rooms only have one or two types of walls tied to them because it makes sense that way, right? Like a mansion would have like wooden walls. Castle would have stone. The different places will have different things. Now, with that in mind, whatever you generated by default, if you're looking at it and it's a wooden wall, for instance, just go to the room wall tool here, the wall tool on this side, select the wooden section, and just carefully scroll through them. You're bound to find that exact wall. I usually get up close like this, so I have it next to it, right here. You could see the wall and see this, and then just kind of scroll through it until you find the one that's a close match. Yay, I'm glad you found it. I guarantee you any room you generate in here, the walls and floors and doors and windows will be in one of these 4 menus. But yeah, I do think we need to add some way to identify them easier because it is frustrating at a glance. I agree. That is silly. And then just if you want to add or remove walls, just make sure you use that tool here. You can add walls in a room or change them or remove them. I'm sure as you were looking and you couldn't find it, it became more frustrating and you were like flustered and couldn't see it, you know? I get that way. My eyes just stop like focusing on the task when I'm frustrated and can't find what I'm after. At least that's probably what would have happened to me. I'm not blaming you by any means. It is a mess organization-wise, so it could be better. What I would recommend is once you found it, hit the heart on it so it's in your favorite menu. And then that way you can find it throughout the build easier. Oh, no worries, Julia. Honestly, like, you're not a problem at all, and I appreciate you coming in and asking questions. What these streams are for. All right, everyone. I had an amazing stream with y'all today, but we got to wrap it up. What we're going to do, though, just really quickly before we do, I do want to discuss the update, okay? So the update is coming out July 10th. Right? So we'll be launching July 10th, rain or shine. Keep in mind our team's in Belgium, so the time it launches may be anywhere from early morning on the 12th to or the 10th to late night in the US because they want to make it land on that day, but they want to make sure it launches smooth and without any issues. So we usually do any last minute checks and make sure it's running in a good state and then upload it and launch it. We also have a whole bunch of announcements and a trailer to go with it, so it's like everything has to be lined up just right. Anyway, tune in Monday, please. On Monday at 9 a.m., our stream is going to be a reveal stream where we'll be showcasing Fun with Objects in its closest state to launch for the first time. I've done a few teasers here and there, done some videos, shown people on stream a couple of times how it runs, but this will be as close to the launch state as it will be, and all the features in it will be part of the update. So if you want to see all the stuff we've been cooking up, how multi-level works, how roofing works, all of these new tools that are going to be available, quality of life improvements, new objects, new object features, stuff like that, tune into the stream Monday, Wednesday, or Saturday. All the streams next week, all 3 streams, will be reveal streams. Now, I will say this, pretty much every stream will be identical. I have the same itinerary. I'll be going over the same stuff every stream, but the questions coming in will be from different people. So you may, essentially I'm offering the stream 3 times on 3 different dates, the same stream. So if you can't tune in Monday, maybe you can tune in Wednesday or Saturday, whatever day is best for you. So if you miss, Monday, tune in one of the other 2, etc. Alternatively, if you tune into all 3, you're bound to learn the most, because we're bound to cover a lot of different topics from people asking questions and maybe covering things we missed in previous streams. So if you can tune in for the reveal streams, it's best to catch all 3, but I understand if you only can make it to 1. So that's why we're, set it up with 3 options for you. Pick the one that best fits your schedule. And remember, 2 of those 3 streams will be VODs. So if you miss a stream, you can always tune into the VODs, watch them, kind of follow along, at least with the Twitch chat, and see what was asked and see what, how it was answered. I'm going to run a quick Dungeon Alchemist themed ad, and then we're going to end the stream. Thank you, everyone, for tuning in today. Really appreciate you being here.
You stand before the long, dark road to the fabled realm of Goyak Ta, and before...
What do we see?
I don't know, a goblin.
I kill him.
But before she does, I, Gilliam of Firth, demand to know the goblin's name.
Hi, my name is Woblin.
Where do you live there, Woblin?
I don't think that's relevant.
Well, but I, Gilliam of Firth, demand to seek the goblin's abode.
Clever. Find family. Kill entire bloodline. I like it.
Seriously, we're doing this? Okay, well, won't be needing that anymore, will I?
Ever get caught by your players with your pants down? Dungeon Alchemist lets you create wonderful maps for any encounter in seconds.
Oh, Woblin, that's a very impressive cheese collection you've got there.
Yeah, it is quite impressive, yes. But you know what's more impressive? This map I have
To the fabled realm of Goyak Ta. Please take it and leave. Close the door behind you.
Mr. Woblin, I cannot help but notice that you have a secret tunnel underneath your cabinet. Care to explain?
Download Dungeon Alchemist, the AI-powered map maker, on Steam today.
Thank you again for tuning in. Appreciate you all being here. Quick reminder, we are on sale for the Steam Summer Sale for 20% off. So if you don't have a copy already, good time to invest. And if you already have a copy, tell your friends, your family members, scream it from the rooftops. Let everyone know that your favorite map maker is on sale. That way your friends, family, players, fellow DMs can get a good deal on it while the sale lasts. So I think it runs through the 10th, which is actually when we launched Fun with Objects, so perfect timing, aligns really well. Take advantage of that sale for sure. Anyway, thank you everyone for being here. Again, my name is Mac, the community manager for Dungeon Alchemist. We'll see you next time I give a damn. Out. Bye.